I was reading about something really interesting, and it was called caffeine, and I thought it was cool, so I had some in it, and now I wanted to talk about it. Hi, I'm Jason Pierce. This week we're going to look at caffeine, what it does, how it does it, and how it can affect athletic performance. Yes, caffeine is one of the best performance-enhancing substances that we know of. So caffeine is a natural substance that comes in coffee, it comes in tea. It's derived from chemicals in those plants and some other places as well. And of course now there's artificial caffeine that's put into all sorts of things. So the way that caffeine makes us not feel sleepy, which is the main reason people use it, is that it blocks the receptors that make you sleepy. It's not actually waking you up. What it's doing is making it so that the things that make you sleepy can't get to your brain. And it usually lasts 3 to 4 hours. And here's an interesting thing about caffeine. There's a genetic component to it. So some people's genetics allow them to absorb caffeine very quickly and metabolize it very quickly. And they're the people that, like, oh, I'm going to have a shot of espresso and go to sleep. Most people aren't like that, but there are people that can do that. So if you know people like that can just drink coffee all day or at night and still go to sleep, it's probably because their genetics allow them to do so. Another thing about caffeine is people say, I'm addicted to coffee, I'm addicted to caffeine. And technically, it is not listed as an addictive substance. For the majority of people, there is not that sense of, I need this, like you would find with dangerous drugs, for example. Now, if you go off of caffeine, you can experience withdrawal symptoms. The withdrawal symptoms can range from feeling a little off to getting headaches to be feeling achy, a little flu-like, and they can last anywhere from 1 to 5 days. And then they pass and then you feel fine. I know this from experience. All right, so what about performance enhancing? Caffeine is a performance enhancing drug, and it's mostly legal everywhere. Now, this is interesting because the NCAA is starting to ban it in certain sports because it does give that little bit of edge, especially in cardiovascular endurance type activities. There's conclusive evidence that it will give you a performance boost. The people who get a certain amount of caffeine and then do like a sprint or something outperform the people that don't. And it's shown that if you're in the middle of a long race and you take some in the middle of the race, it will help you perform better as the race goes on. And how does it do this? Part of it is that it can increase adrenaline, which helps with performance. It also can increase endorphins in our system, which also makes you feel better and therefore perform better. They're not 100% sure how this works, but it improves muscle performance. It also can increase thermogenesis, your body's internal temperature, which helps you perform better and also lose weight faster. They found that about an hour before you are going to do the thing you need the enhancement for, sprinting or running or playing a game or something, you should get 100 to 200 milligrams, somewhere in there, depending on your body mass and weight and things like that. Just for reference, a shot of espresso is about 90 milligrams, so that's like 2 coffees. How much caffeine is too much? Well, you can overdose on it to a certain extent. You don't want to just keep taking it. You'll hit a point if you have too much caffeine where all of a sudden something sort of flips and you will feel weird, wired. Everything just starts going too much. And then I usually feel sick to my stomach and I start getting a headache and things like that. So you can usually tell when this happens and then okay, I just got to wait this out for a couple hours and it'll go away. It seems that most of the research says you know when this is. It's kind of based on your weight and the amount of caffeine. So there are a couple of dangers associated with caffeine. You can have too much and it can affect your performance in a negative way. And it seems to happen every few years with energy drinks that you hear something about someone getting sick or dying because of energy drinks. New ones constantly come out and then it seems like once in a while something happens. Recently there have been a few reported deaths. It seems that the biggest issue is not the caffeine per se. It's the combination of, there's 3 different chemicals that come together. Caffeine is one of them. In combination, they can cause a problem for a very small percentage of people who have heart conditions. So caffeine is not ideal for people with heart conditions, and you should always ask your doctor. There's a certain percentage of people with a heart condition where these energy drinks can make the heart skip a beat, essentially. And when that happens, you can die if you don't get medical help. A lot of times, these are young people who don't know that they've got a heart condition and or aren't around people that can help them if something happens. The tragedy of it is that. But in general, caffeine itself is not the problem. It's the way that energy drinks are made that's the problem. They also have a lot more caffeine in them usually. So caffeine is, again, one of the most studied and most effective performance-enhancing substances we know of. For most of us, the athletic boost that you're going to get isn't anything that's going to change how you're playing in like a rec league or pickleball or tennis or whatever. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. It really makes a difference for highly trained athletes, more so than the rest of us. Yes, caffeine will help you perform better, but it's not necessarily going to make you better than everybody else. It's just going to help you feel better and perform a little bit better on your own. So it's not a wonder drug per se, but it's useful for those purposes. So I hope you found this interesting. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and as usual, stay healthy.